if it's within their community and, maybe near their home, they want to take a close look.
Right, and to date, IO is publishing information that they're making publicly available on their website. I think as we get into more development applications that the city entertains, if applications are filed, we put them on our application information center with all the supporting materials. We provide as much access as we can. And we'll certainly look at how we can enhance our website to provide as much information as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Wong-Tam, questions? Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'm just curious, through you to the Chief Planner. Obviously, development along transit is something that we have been striving to build more of. But also the importance of that is that it gives us an opportunity to build housing, deeply affordable housing in some cases. Can you share with us, if you do know, that the province's rationale on not prescribing housing, affordable housing, for these transit-oriented community sites that they now own?
Through the Speaker, the province has advised us that they, that through these municipal zoning orders, will not engage through the city's inclusionary zoning process. These sites will be exempted from inclusionary zoning, and they will instead, they've advised us, negotiate affordable housing on a site-by-site basis through the commercial arrangements. And it will be done through a percentage of the value that is accrued through the density value that's created by the TOC approval. It's a different approach than the city has been engaged with to date. That is what they've indicated.
And thank you very much. So, do you know if the province is going to be providing information that gives us details to the quantity or perhaps the type of affordable housing before they tender? Because my understanding is that they need to put this out to market soon, and they plan to do this before the election. But also their intention is to reward the contract before this end of this year. So will the new developer and the new owner be bound by any promises that are to be made, which we still don't know what they are, but will they be forced to deliver affordable housing if it's not in the contract with the bid?
Through the chair, we would expect to sort these details out and get better insight as to what their plan is before they tender. I would think that council has already stated its desire to be as IZ-like as possible. So the city staff will certainly advance the interests of meeting the percentages, depending on the market area, meeting the percentages of IZ, meeting the definition of IZ, which is so these are the types of positions that the city will be advancing in discussions.
And do you know if it's going to be part of the tender though? I think if it's not a part of the tender, then the developer or the project co, they may not be bound to any obligation. And the properties were deliberately exempted from IZ requirements. So I'm just curious to know, how do we ensure that we can get affordable housing into these sites?
Again, I believe it will be part, we expect that it will be part of the tender, it will be part of the requirements that they put out as their control.
Thank you. Now, sorry, I got you. Please finish your comment.
Sorry, that is what they've indicated to us today.
So there's no guarantees that just say trust us, and we'll tell you the details later. And at this point in time, we've got no power over the situation. We have to take it at face value. With respect to the first Parliament site, if I can just direct your attention to that site for a bit. Obviously, it's a sizable site. It's about 3 acres in size. It's as big as Nathan Phillips Square, and not a stitch of affordable housing. With respect to the community space that's at play, we know that the library, which was designated to use for that 30,000 square feet, that's now going to be at the St. Lawrence Market across from the hall. Can you tell us what would be the program that the city would anticipate using there if the real estate still exists, but then we don't have a program anymore? How are we going to determine what the future program will be?
Through the speaker, I'll answer that, Councillor. The report contains a recommendation that we establish a process, and indeed in conversations with the community, there's a real interest at the community level to engage in a discussion about what that space would be used for and how we could effectively use it at the park and other elements of the development to reflect the heritage and the history of the site.
James, thank you. My final question is that there may be a desire from the community to expand the footprint of the site beyond 30,000 square feet. How feasible is it that we take some of the proceeds from the first Parliament sale to go back and purchase and expand, perhaps buy all the retail space there for city uses, cultural uses? Can we do that? That was your last question.
Through the speaker, I'll answer that in part and then look to Graham to answer the specifics about accessing the money from the expropriation. Certainly, we would be able to negotiate with the development partner on that site for access to other space. That's within that's quite possible. So we could do that. Alison Felicia maybe will answer on the question of the funding for that.
Thanks, James. Through the speaker, funds from the expropriation have been deposited in land acquisition fund. And so through LARF, there are specific criteria for access for strategic acquisitions that support these building initiatives. And so once we have the opportunity to understand what a specific acquisition can do, we evaluate that against the criteria to utilize LARF.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Councillor Coe, questions?
Yes, here we're talking about intensification, obviously, near major transit stations. One of the issues that's coming up is that I've got about 75 of these development applications and most of them are transit. The question is the provincial policy, MTSA, Major Transit Study Area Policy, is it in place? Because we're getting challenges saying, well, it's not in place because the city hasn't done this reports yet. So where does that lie?
Through the speaker, Councillor, well, not specifically part of this report. The MTSA establishes the delineation, if you will, of all MTSAs across the city, about 180. But 100 of them are PMTSAs, which will be where we'll be able to use inclusionary zoning. So that process is working its way through. The AC expected to be in July, then be shipped off to the province, so technically it is not in place. Someone who's making that argument is projecting, I would say, about a future situation, not an existing situation.
Okay, Councillor Coe, can you ask questions on what we have before us?
That we've got,
That we're not talking about.
okay, thank you.
The time. All right. Can we clear the screen? And do we have speakers? If you would like to speak, please put your name on the list. Councillor Cressy to speak.
Thank you, Speaker. I'd like to place a motion. Great thanks to city staff and many divisions for helping pull this together. I can summarize the motion briefly here, which is to continue to work with Infrastructure Ontario to advance plans for the provision of parkland as part of the TOCs in Ward 10, to seek to acquire the nearby land adjacent to Victoria Memorial Park for parkland and other city building activities, to continue to advance that, as along with the financing options in partnership with IO4 as well, should we be unable to acquire it, to explore all options to expand the Victoria Memorial Park should there be a different development application made on it. So I'll place that. Let me start first of all by thanking our civil service city staff from many different divisions who have been hard at work on this file, and as Deputy Mayor Holliday's questions indicated, a very different type of development process than we've undertaken before, and that has required a lot of hard work across many of our staff, and so I want to commend them. What's in front of us here today is not a decision or a vote on the Ontario law for rapid transit. Rather, it is about specifically some of the developments at some of those transit stations. But we're dealing with the developments, the TOCs right here at an earlier stage. TOCs, as described, transit-oriented communities, are intended to be complete communities. That's what the tagline seeks to explain. That yes, density or transit, that is important and good, but livable and affordable density in neighborhoods around transit. That's the intention. And I think we will all acknowledge and have to acknowledge that to meet that objective of a complete community, much more work is needed to get there. Some of that work will be done when there is a development partner. Other work can be advanced now. And it's in that spirit that both my questions and the motions in front of us speak specifically to one piece of it, and that's parkland. Parkland is part of a complete community. Parkland in the TOCs is already identified that to be included through cash in lieu. But we know often we accept cash, we can't spend it, we don't acquire land, it depreciates in value, we never get parkland. And so there's an opportunity here, as it relates to some of the downtown TOC sites we're voting on, to actually create new parklands now. In this case, to expand an existing park, Victoria Memorial Square. It's a piece of property that Parks, Forestry, and Recreation have been seeking to acquire for many years, that the community has identified, and that which is for sale right now. I do want to, at this point, also just recognize that this has been raised, and it's been raised with IO in recent months, and we haven't solved it. We still haven't solved it yet, but Minister Surma, I will tell you, has been in touch and has been quite helpful in recent weeks to try to address this, to build a more complete community. And I hope there express the willingness to work on financing options towards actually acquiring this property. And so the motions in front of us are to help get this over the finish line, and if we can't, to have backup options for how we can continue to expand this program. But ultimately, we need to meet the test of a complete community to be a true TOC, and we're not quite there yet, so let's keep going. And in this case, these motions are to help us get over the finish line and our part component is one of our focus. With that, Speaker, I conclude my remarks.
Thank you. Councillor Montcalm to speak. Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. I do have a motion, and hopefully the clerk can put that onto the screen. It is a bit long, but I think because it was contained in the letter of my communications that went to the executive committee, it's now been floating around for about I think 10 or 14 days. The motion is largely to try to have City Council state some positions. So therefore, position one is that community benefits are important, and that every TLC site and all the construction around the Ontario line should be bound to some type of community benefits agreement that will allow us to procure jobs locally, to hire equity-seeking populations, to ensure that there are some benefits going to the local community and so forth. So it's not really new to Metrolinx. We've moved similar motions in the past. I brought this up in every single conversation with them as well as Infrastructure Ontario. But what we keep getting back is the answer from the promise that we'll get to it, and when we get to it, we'll know. And I just think that for communities of interest, especially in Moss Park, one of the neighborhoods I represent, they really want to know sooner rather than later. And as I noted in my remarks, the province is going to be tendering the construction of the Ontario line, as well as, of course, the TLC sites very soon. Even if the subway stations aren't complete, they plan to be selling those parcels. And it would be great for all of us, including the City of Toronto and the staff, to know what's going on. I think it will also help the staff in their negotiations with the province, so they can to saying, this is what council is looking for. We also want to be able to ensure that Indigenous consultation takes place. I'm coming to the First Parliament site again, and I apologize, folks, I know you may be tired of hearing me talk about First Parliament site, but really, quite honestly, it is one of the most culturally significant sites in the city. It's not just the presence of the first parliamentary and democratic institutions in not just in Toronto, but Upper Canada, of course, the predecessor of Canada. But really, it is the incredible history of Indigenous culture and experience, and of course, living that has predated even the settlements of the European. This is the kind of work that we're trying to do, and it's very difficult to do unless we have a willing partner. The willing partner has got to be the province, but the province is going to sell the lands, which means that we're going to be working with a private developer in a consortium. And it's not clear to me whether or not they're going to put the city's expectations into their tender. So once again, we don't know if this is going to be absolutely delivered, or are we just having nice conversations with infrastructure and metro links. And like many of you, I'm sure, when it comes to buying a house, you probably want to see it in writing. When it comes to renting an apartment, you want to see it in writing. Any transaction pertaining in Ontario has got to be in writing, and yet what we have are just sort of conversations ongoing with staff. And that's, in this case, provincial staff to city staff. The other things that we'd like to do, I'll just finish on this part. We have been through a very bumpy ride with the First Parliament site. I've highlighted that it's 3 acres of land, but it's not just any coastal land. It really represents something very significant to the city. And so we want to be able to honor that culture and history that's there. Originally, there was a placeholder for 30,000 square feet to build this brand new, exciting district for in the St. Lawrence catchment area. That now is moving somewhere else, and that's okay. But here's the opportunity. Now you've got 30,000 square feet of brand new space that could be a cultural interpretation center. It could even be the potential Center for Indigenous Learning, part of the work that Waterfront Toronto has been broadly leading on their part with Indigenous partners down by the waterfront. It could also be maybe the Toronto Museum that has been looking for a home for, as far as I can tell, for over a decade and more. This is potentially another significant cultural asset that's coming to the city, but interestingly enough, now it needs to get bigger. So we need now more than 30,000 square feet, because now we have the potential to exponentially elevate its importance and to make sure that this becomes a premier destination and a remarkable cultural asset, not just for the area residents, which is important, but also for the city. And this could be that destination placemaking marker that we've all been excited about, that we've expected from anything that's important as important as the First Parliament site. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Holiday to speak.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I do not have a motion, but I wanted to make a couple of brief comments that I felt were important to put on the record and hopefully be considered by the parties involved in this process. What we have before us is a council report on transit-oriented communities. It's not the first, it's not the last, and a valuable point to give input by the public on some of the concepts that are being discussed. However, I've been doing this work as a councillor for 7.5 years and have been involved in my share of developments that follow the traditional path. And one thing that I've always been amazed by is the talent and the dedication of members of the public who get involved in these projects to give their input. They provide a sober second look, scrutiny, ability to go through the details. There's a transparency to this process when many of the reports, the designs, the plans are put out there in the public for people to look at. Although conceptually we're discussing what could happen in a transit-oriented community today, eventually we'll turn into a phase which is closer to a development. That's where I think it becomes far more personal for people that live next to this or close by in the area, and people have some ideas about it. So my comments are meant to encourage the development of the process that will include members of the public, especially as we get into the more detailed phases of this, because I think there's a lot of value. I think there's a check and balance provided when you've got government-to-government discussions, and you've got members of the Toronto Public Service, some scrutiny to what is being put forward. You've got the private sector, if they're involved in this, putting their plans forward, and people get to have a second look. Mr. Lintern mentioned, it is a different process, different set of laws, and then there's some guardrails, which limit the width of this process. I'm paraphrasing perhaps, but one of the valuable things that I think can be done is if members of the public do have something to say about what they've learned on these projects and some ability to influence the details, perhaps that can be put on the public record. And in that way, those that make the decisions within those documents, that information is brought forward. And I know the process isn't clear because I think this is new. I think the report alludes to that this is coming in the future. But I say those words to encouragement to those that are making decisions in how this process will move forward. I hope they will involve these proposals because there are so many talented and capable people that have something good, something constructive, and important to say about that. So thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Okay, we'll put Councillor Cressy's motion on the screen. All in favor? Okay, all in favor? Show of hands carried. Motion by Councillor Wong Tam, if we could put it on the screen. It's a long one. Okay. All in favor? Carried. Item is amended. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Our next timed item is EX 31.5 East Harbor Transit. Councillor Fletcher, you held the item down. Questions to staff. If anybody has any questions, please put their name on the screen.